Montessori Grandma. Episode 45. Zoology Part 4. First classification of the animal kingdom.
Zoology Part 4, First Classification of Animal Kingdom, Part 2. A Montessori lesson written and presented by Geeta Vijayachandran. First Classification of Animal Kingdom. In the earlier video, we looked at presentation 1, which was the phylum of invertebrates. In the presentation 2, we looked at classes of invertebrates. And in presentation 3, we looked at order of invertebrates. We will continue with the first classification of the animal kingdom. The fourth presentation is to do with order of insects. The fifth is to do with order of reptilia. The sixth presentation is order of birds or aves. And the seventh presentation is order of mammalia. Fourth presentation, invertebrates, order of insecta. This is done in the second or third year of elementary. The material is first classification of animal kingdom, invertebrates, spoken and mute charts, pictures, labels, and description cards of insects. Presentation is we can see 7 pictures of insects for keeping below the B. They are the 7 orders of insects. So here is the first classification of animal kingdom invertebrate chart, and you can see what we did in the earlier presentation, and now this presentation is where we are looking at insects. And you can see the 7 animals placed there. This is what the final look of the chart will be. Now this is the blank chart of the invertebrates, and this is what we will use to do the presentation. Now these are the pictures of invertebrates used to do the blank chart. We are going to look at the order of insects. Bedbug represents the whole order of insects called Hemiptera. From Greek, hemi means half and pteron means wing. The forewing structure is partly hardened at the base and partly membranous. The characteristics of this group is that it has special mouth part that resembles the rostrum of a ship. The mouth is rounded and has a hook which is the sucking part. These animals are parasites. They pierce other creatures and suck out blood or pierce plants and suck out sap. Now let us lay out the picture, label and description cards on the chart. Optoptera. Cockroach represents the order of insects called Optoptera. It comes from the Greek word ortho, meaning straight, and ptera, meaning winged. These insects have 2 pairs of straight wings that are called the wings of a helicopter. They like damp places. Many insects in this order produce sound by rubbing their wings against each other or their legs. The wings or legs contain rows of corrugated bumps. Other examples are grasshopper and cricket. Next one is Ordonata, and dragonfly represents the order of insects called Ordonata. It comes from the Greek word odontos, meaning tooth, apparently because they have teeth on their mandibles, even though most insects also have toothed mandibles. The wings are transparent and have a network on them. They live near water on plants. They are carnivores. Example are damselflies. During the Carboniferous period, we can see these giant dragonflies whose wings, when spread out, could be 60 centimeters across. Diptera. Housefly represents an order called Diptera, which comes from the Greek word di, meaning two, and pteron, meaning wing. They are irritating and dangerous. Some settle on dirty substances and carry germs. They have 1 pair of wings which are transparent and have a network on them. Their mouth is like that of bedbugs. One of the varieties of housefly carries malaria germs. We can break presentation here and children can explore on their own. They can do the next 3 insects on another day or continue on the same day. Lepidoptera, butterfly, belongs to the group called Lepidoptera. Lepido means scale and ptera means wings. The wings have scales, and these scales are tiny and colored and give color to the wings. Example is moth. Hymenoptera. Bee belongs to the order Hymenoptera. From Greek, humanopteris means membrane winged, and from human, which means membrane, and pteron means wing. They can produce honey and wax. The bee's mandibles or jaws are used for feeding larvae, collecting pollen, manipulating wax, and carrying things. Nearly the entire bee is covered with branched hairs. A bee can feel with these hairs, and the hairs serve the bee well when it comes to pollination because pollen sticks well to the branched hairs. Coleoptera, maybug, and cockchafer. These represent the order called Coleoptera. The word is derived from Latin and Greek meaning sheathed wing. These are usually seen in May. They are heavy insects and make a noise when they fly. They live 3 years underground and then come out. They have 4 wings. The front pair are leathery, hard and rigid, and protects the other pairs of wings like a sheath, that is like a casing. Examples are beetles. Now let us place a picture, label and description cards as before. Do the second period lesson where we say, can you show me those with large wings and with network on wings? An insect which has mouth adapted for piercing and sucking, and so on. The third period lesson, what are insects with colored scales on their wings called? That is just an example. Children have to give names of group, characteristics, and examples of each order. Check using the spoken chart. Follow up, research other animals belonging to the same phylum, order, etc. Make own chart, write own experiments. Note, we can now go back to the vertebrate chart after finishing insects. Here we have the vertebrate chart. So we have already done the Pisces and the amphibians. So now we are going into reptilia. This is the 5th presentation and we are looking at orders of reptilia. Material consists of the first classification, spoken and mute chart of vertebrates, pictures, labels and description cards of reptilia. The presentation, let us look at the next part of the chart. We can see reptiles come next. We have the picture of a boar to represent a reptile. Can you tell me all that you know about reptiles? They are cold-blooded, have dry, scaly or horny skin, and a 4-chambered heart. Most reptiles lay eggs with leathery shells, but a few types bear live young. Because they are cold-blooded, reptiles are more common in the tropics than in temperate regions and are not found in polar areas. Keep the picture, label and description card of reptilia on the chart. We have 4 more pictures. Let us look at the first picture. It is of that of a snake. Serpenti or Ophidia. Cobra is example, and snakes are elongated, legless, carnivorous reptiles of the order Serpenti or Ophidia, which can be distinguished from legless lizards by their lack of eyelids and external ears. From the Greek word ophis or ophid meaning snake. They slither. This movement is called reptation. Their body is covered with scales and they have different colors and patterns. Let us keep the picture, label and description cards on the chart. Sauria. Lizard represents the order of lizards called Sauria, which is now called Squamata. They are cold-blooded. They have eyelids. Many lizards can detach their tails to escape from predators, an act called autotomy. Some of them can change color. Remember, it was lizards that grew to enormous sizes and were called dinosaurs. Crocodilia. Crocodiles represent the order of Crocodilia. The word comes from Latin crocodilus, meaning lizard. They have tough, bony skin like armor. The back hind legs are webbed. All crocodiles are semi-aquatic and tend to congregate in freshwater habitats such as rivers, lakes, wetlands, and sometimes in salt water. They are carnivorous animals, feeding mostly on vertebrates such as fish, reptiles, birds, and mammals, and sometimes on invertebrates such as mollusks and crustaceans. Testudines or Chelonia. Tortoise belongs to an order of reptiles called testudines, which comprises the earth turtles, terrapins, and tortoises. They are distinguished by having a shell of bony plates covered with horny scales, and many kinds are aquatic. Also called Chelonia, they are aquatic or terrestrial egg-laying reptiles having horny toothless jaws. The head, limbs, and tail can be withdrawn into the shell. Testudines is a Latin word. After we have talked through all the 4 types of reptiles, we move on to the second and third periods. Follow up. As with the earlier presentations, note we can move on to the birds now or stop and continue later. Children are older now, and so we can give more animals in one presentation. Decide by following the children's interest. We can take a break here and let the children do research on their own. The 6th presentation is Orders of Birds and Aves. Material is first classification, spoken and mute chart of vertebrates, pictures, labels, and description cards of birds. Presentation. Let us now look at birds. They are called aves. Continue introduction as with other animals done. Talk about birds. Parrot represents all birds. Keep picture, label, and description of bird on chart. We have 8 pictures of birds. Let us look at the ostrich. Struthoniformes. Ostrich represents a group called Struthoniformes, meaning ostrich-like bird. The ostrich shares the order Struthoniformes with the kiwis, emus, rheas, and cacavorus. The name is derived from Latin struthio, meaning ostrich, and camelus, meaning camel, alluding to its dry habitat. They are flightless birds and move around by running, have small wings, and their sternum is flat. The ostrich plumes are highly regarded and used for costumes. Anseriformes and Syconiformes. The duck represents order of birds called Anseriformes. Anser means goose, so goose-like birds. They live on land and in water using their webbed feet. The stork represents the group called Syconiformes. Syconi means stork. They have long legs and long beaks, that is bill. They are called wading birds and live near water. They are able to fish out fish and insects from the water using their long beak. Galeriformes and Passeriformes. Rooster and hen. These represent the order called Galeriformes. The Galeriformes are an order of heavy-bodied ground-feeding birds that includes turkey, goose, and chicken. The name derives from Gallus, Latin for cock or rooster. They cannot fly high and can flutter up a little only. The sternum is not keel-shaped. They have strong toes to scratch the ground and to look for food. They take in grit that helps them to digest. Sparrow belongs to the group called Passeriformes. They do not have any specific characteristic. All songbirds belong to this group. Columbiformes and Pisciformes. Pigeon belongs to the order called Columbiformes. Columbi means pigeon. They have a soft protuberance at the base of the beak. Example, doves. All pigeons strut about with a characteristic bobbing of the head. All members of the family suck liquids rather than sip and swallow as other birds. And all pigeon parents feed their young pigeons milk, the sloughed off lining of the crop. the production of which is stimulated by the hormone prolactin. The nestling obtains this milk by poking its bill down the parent's throat. The woodpecker belongs to the order called Piciformes, which is Latin, means 4 toes. 2 toes point to the front and 2 toes point to the back. This helps it to hold on to the trees and move around the trees easily. Falconiformes. Eagle belongs to the order Falconiformes or raptors. They are familiar to children. These are majestic looking birds with sharp eyesight. Eagles have eyes that are at the sides and are day birds. The raptors have eyes at the front and are night birds. Example, owl. Go on to the second and third periods. Place cards again on chart and check using the spoken chart. Follow up as usual. We can do 4 orders of birds at a time. After this, we can do mammals. 7th presentation is order of Mammalia. Material is first classification, spoken and mute chart of vertebrates, pictures, labels and description cards of mammals. Presentation. Let us recollect the characteristics of mammals. They come last but are the most important. They come first regarding the nervous system and also intelligence and love. Mammals give birth to young. This means a mammal mother keeps a young inside her body until they are ready to come out. This ensures the greatest amount of protection. When the young are born, the mothers are able to produce milk that serves as food for the young. Other characteristics of mammals. Regarding intelligence, the mammals look after them, feed them, educate them, and train them till they grow up and can look after themselves. These characteristics did not come all of a sudden, as we can see some of them in birds also. Human beings are mammals, but their love goes beyond the love we see in other mammals. This is because we can love not only our own children and parents, but we can love people we have never seen. Mammalia. Let us look at the chart. We can see 12 mammals. The goat represents all mammals. Keep the picture and label that reads mammal. Read the description of what a mammal is and keep below the picture of goat. Now let us look at the 12 mammals. Monotremes and marsupials. Platypus represents the order called monotremes. They lay eggs like reptiles and birds. They have a bill like a bird, that is like a duck. But they produce milk in their body and so are like a link between a bird and a mammal. Kangaroo belongs to the order called marsupials. These are extraordinary animals and have a pouch. The little ones are born early and develop in the pouch till they are ready. The word marsupial means pouch. Edentate and Rodenta. Anteater belongs to the order called Edentate, which means toothless, because the members do not have front incisor teeth and lack or have poorly developed molars. Examples are armadillos and sloths. The beaver belongs to the order of rodents. The word means to gnaw. They are known for building dams. They constantly gnaw, that is because they have chisel-shaped teeth that keeps growing constantly. Examples are rat, squirrel. Ungulates and insectivorous. Zebra belong to the order ungulates. These animals are like horses and have hoofs. When they have odd number of toes, they are called artiodactyls. And when that is, the examples are goat, deer and cattle group. And when they are even-toed, they are called perissodactylia, that is rhino. Mole belong to the order called insectivorous and they feed on insects. They are virtually blind and live underground. They dig constantly and so the front feet are spade-shaped. They have a long nose. Cetaceans and pinnipeds. Whale belong to the order called cetaceans. This animal or this mammal lives in water. They are huge marine mammals. They don't have front limbs. The hind limbs are modified into flippers. Seal belongs to the order called pinnipeds. They are playful mammals and are useful in circuses and shows on land. They move slowly and with great effort while on land. In water, they are graceful and fast. The body is pinnate and the back limbs are actually fins, not like fins of a fish. They are adapted to water more than land. They live in cold places within the Arctic Circle. They have wonderful fur, which is why they are hunted. The seal found in the Mediterranean is called the monk seal. Carnivorous and chiropterans. Lion belongs to the order Carnivorous, and this means flesh-eating. They eat only freshly killed meat. The lion is called the king of beasts. The male has a mane. They have canines, which are well developed and sharp, and also have cutting molars. The bat belongs to the order Chiropterans, meaning hand wings. They are mammals which can fly. They have 4 limbs. The front pair of wings come with great membranes and look like wings. These wings have no feathers on them but are made of skin. The other pair of limbs help them to hang on to trees. Sirenia and primates. Sea cow, dugong, manatee belong to the order called Sirenia or sirens. These mammals live in water and graze underwater pastures. They are herbivorous. They have 4 limbs that are shaped like paddles, and these are used for swimming. The face has a fleshy sort of lips. Gibbons belong to the order primates. Their hand and feet are prehensile and are capable of grasping. Examples: monkey, ape, and so on. Keep the pictures, labels, and description cards on the chart. Do the second and third periods, then go through the animals in groups of 3. Follow up. Place the materials and labels out so the children can work on their own. Children can do the complete chart and check using the spoken chart. At the end, they can work with the invertebrate and vertebrate charts together. Keep pictures, labels, and description cards. Look at the timeline as you do each class. By the end of this work, children have an overall idea of how the animal kingdom is organized. After the charts, children can research and find other animals belonging to the same phylum, order, and class. This leads to the program for 9 to 12-year-olds. We finished the first classification of the animal kingdom and the timeline of life simultaneously. This takes us to the next topic called the second classification of animal kingdom, and it is done during the second cycle of elementary, that is for ages 9 to 12. We will look at this in another video. That takes us to the end of the first classification of animal kingdom. Thank you for watching. This is Geeta Vijaychandran signing off.
Montessori Grandma.